This week we're talking about paper engineering. Now, Paulette, maybe you can tell us a little bit about what paper engineering is.
Okay, well, paper engineering would be folding paper, manipulating it, taking a flat surface and turning into something a little three-dimensional.
Exactly. So basically going from something like this into a twisted, tucked, folded, and very unique embellishment for scrapbook pages, cards, and so much more.
But we don't want to make it too difficult.
No, exactly not. So we've got some shortcuts for getting a great look.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to take flat paper and we're going to make it wonderful.
Right. And you've got a shortcut because we always need shortcuts for this.
Absolutely. Well, this is my shortcut. This is a template. Yes. And
Hooray.
It's got, thankfully it has patterns on it and directions, but we're just going to walk through those.
Right.
Okay.
So you're going to show me how easy it is to take that flat piece of paper into a
Scandinavian heart.
I can't believe it. Like the kind we used to make in grade school.
Exactly.
Okay. It's been a while since I've been to grade school, so I need you to remind me how to do this because it's really easy, but it's very cool. It's a very cool technique.
And that's what we want. So we're going to use our template, and we do use it on the back side of the paper.
Right.
So that way you can mark your pattern. And in this case, I thought it was really clever. This is out of our Bright Use Them for Anything.
Okay.
And we're going to take one of the patterns. You need two.
Okay.
So you're going to take one. I'm going to take it out of this area, and I'm going to take another one out of this area.
Clever.
So you want to move that paper away?
Yes, I will.
Okay, so I have these two things. Now, Stacy said they look like Pokemon ghosts.
No, Pac-Man.
Pac-Man. Oops.
Yeah.
Okay. One of those computer game thingers. Okay. So what I want to end up with is a heart. So if I overlap them like this, that's my end result that I want.
Except this section will all be woven. Okay.
Weaved.
I was trying to think of the proper grammatical way to say that.
And you can see they're all cut, so the weaving is easy. But I'm going to place them the way the heart is going to be at the end.
And that's important. You don't want to try weaving with these kind of at opposite angles and stuff. It just really doesn't work.
The other thing that's important is I'm going to start weaving from the center.
Okay.
From that divot at the end.
The dip in the heart.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just going to weave. You know, weaving is over, under, over, under. It's just as difficult as that looks. So that first one is woven.
Okay. Now I've noticed that as you're doing this, you're nesting this in pretty snugly up there. You're not letting it drift aside. Right.
You want to keep the heart shape, and it's going to shift a little bit as you're weaving, but you can jiggle it back into shape. So over, under, over. I mean, it truly is just as you recall.
How easy is this?
And please notice I'm doing this upside down.
I'm so impressed. I really am. I realize
it's a little world. I know,
and what a cool look you're getting from those tone-on-tone papers.
Isn't that pretty? And
very fun.
Now I'm going to get to the end.
Look at that.
Look at that. Isn't
That's
that
so
neat?
cool.
And then you may want to wiggle it a little bit.
That's the scooch factor.
The scooch factor.
And you have to do that. You have to do that with a lot of templates and things that you cut and fold because things do shift.
Look.
But that's amazing.
Now the Scandinavian hearts we did in elementary school were really a pocket.
Right.
So there was a back.
Okay.
We're not doing that.
Okay. Well, and you could, if you wanted to glue this onto the front of a card and have it be a pocket, just glue around the edge.
Yeah.
But you don't have this glued at all.
I don't.
So
it's
don't
exactly
put glue on before you start folding.
Oh, no, don't. You want to be able to do the scooch factor because that's important. And what you can do when you're done is you can tape it or glue it if you want to, or just glue it down onto your... And now there are, I think 5 or 6 patterns on the template. This is the largest one. Okay. And do you want to bring in the little one?
Let me bring in an example. Now, this week's bundle, we're doing the Bright Use Them for Anything. This is showing the pastel. So it's a different color combination.
And
so
this
don't let that
is the different sizes. This is the large one, so you can see it's truly large compared to the smaller one.
Right. But look at this. This is wonderful. Using a striped paper and then a faux texture over here.
Yes.
Really, really darling.
You want to see something else?
Of course I do.
Okay. Let me show you. This is going to end up being a butterfly.
Okay, I'm really having a hard time envisioning. I did not do well in geometry class, Paulette, but I really have a hard time envisioning this.
Okay, well, what we've got on each of these pieces and on the template is half a butterfly. Now, the template tells you, and we've done this, is you want to fold them first.
Right.
Okay, so
that is a very important part because you saw me struggling with this earlier.
I did. It was not
really
pretty.
Pathetic.
So you want to fold it and you want to keep it folded. Now I'm going to do the same thing. Is I'm going to place it to look like a heart. Now see what's happening?
Yeah.
Those two halves make a whole butterfly.
That is so neat.
And those two halves, there's this funny space in there. Well, they're going to cover that up. So the only thing I need to do now is I need to do my weaving. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start in the center. So I'm going to go over and under. And I only have 2 layers, so this is not a tough thing to do. And then I'm going to go under.
And you'll end up with the butterfly, the white side facing up. So you could ink it, chalk it, and look how simple that is.
Isn't that neat?
That's amazing. It really is amazing.
And by the way, Susan Niner James is a U.S. Citizen, but she lives in London. And so we do thank her for this. Do you want to bring in the sample?
Yes, of course. I'm so busy admiring that. Sarah. So here's the white section, but it has been chalked with yellow.
Right.
And I love the addition of, if we can get closer in here, you can see the faux stitching around the outside of the butterfly and along the edges of some of the folded sections. So she's done 2 on the front of this card.
Okay, so here it is. Can you switch that? There you go. So there it is, white. Exact same papers, by the way. And then with the stitching and the chalking added.
Love it.
Very nice.
Love it. What else do you have to show me? Yeah, of course I do.
Well, the same way that we did that butterfly, there is a little heart.
That is really
look at on this
sweet.
album page.
Oh.
Now there's something else. Can we get in closer? And there's a hanger. Now that hanger is part of the template.
I was just going to ask about that because this is a really cool hanger, and look how uniform and perfect it is across this page.
Must be a template.
Yeah, I would really hope so.
Yeah.
Because you know my cutting abilities.
I do. So this is,
cool.
Maybe you can see it. It's a long piece.
It's kind of wavy.
And that gets folded so it doesn't gap at all.
Excellent.
Yeah, so that's
very cool.
That's another one.
And I love the little brads up here, and how this is just so sweet. This is basically the same format.
Exactly the same. So you've got your pieces, you're going to fold them, and you fold on top. The template tells you that.
Okay.
And then again, place them so the way a heart would be, and then just weave them.
So really, it's instrumental for you to kind of figure out the shape that it's going to be and position it that way to begin with.
Now, here is another album page, and then we're going to go in close. And we're going to see another one where there's a flower in the center. And this flower is just woven.
That is really, really neat.
Now, the only thing that's tricky about this, and here are my pieces. Maybe you can scoot that away.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, here are my pieces. Is that I've got thin and thick pieces to weave.
Okay, so here's your thin, your narrow piece, and then your wide piece.
And that feels a little awkward.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really?
It does. So what you want to do is as you place them, again, I'm starting with my heart shape, and the tricky part is that in this case, my stripe I want on top.
Okay.
So that means that I've got my middle area on top. Now I'm going to have to figure out the rest of it.
Okay.
So that's a little trickier, and I'm going to want to go over and then under. See, now I'm keeping it back up. And then over.
So it's really just the same format as before.
I swear it is. It's
so much easier, though, to see someone do it, Paulette. It really, really is.
It makes a difference.
For those of us who are visual people.
Well, the other thing that happens, especially with a stripe or an irregular stripe, is it's kind of depend on how you cut it.
Right. What portion of the paper that you use.
Yeah. And right here, there's a big blue in the middle. Now, in our finished one, let's bring it back in, there is, where are you?
There we go.
Probably as close as we can, John. You'll see that there is a brad in the center, which helps define that flower shape, And then also, these stripes are closer together. These stripes are further apart.
Okay.
So it might be a little trickier to see that flower, but it's there.
Right. And I really like that she's also sanded around the
Isn't that
outside
nice?
edges.
Isn't that
gives
nice?
you a little bit of a variety too. But when you're doing that tracing, again, you will want to just kind of pay attention to what section of the paper you trace from.
And again, one other thing to tell you. Oh, this is good to tell you. Let me turn this over so we've got a white surface. Okay, you're going to do, let's see, let me get you a shape. Okay, there's the big one. So I'm going
the big heart.
The big heart, thank you. So that's half of it. So I'm going to trace this. Then I'm going to turn it over.
Flip it over,
and then do my second one. Now, it's not as important on the hearts, the first one I did, but when you get to the butterflies and the flowers and the heart, within a heart,
would be vital.
It's important.
Okay.
So you just want to know that turning it over, flipping it over is flipping it so that you see Scandinavian backwards.
Right, and that's a very key part to make, because I've seen people in class who think flipping it over is just turning it around.
Yeah.
So it is really
think of flipping
it over like a burger.
Scandinavian hearts are cool.
I think they are very cool. And Paulette, I am not a cutter. You know this.
I do know that.
But the result of these is just so cool. I think
you're going to try it?
I think I'll do it.
Okay.
I think I will. Rake in the oohs and ahs with this week's special offer. You'll have our Scandinavian Hearts template plus papers and brads to create an infinite number of woven heart shapes. That's 24 colorful papers, 200 bright brads, and a template with 6 unique patterns, all for only $18.79. To order, just click on the featured product on the right-hand side of the screen.